So, when I was dialing you up just now, showed your profile, and your profile looks like you're like 20 years old, and I think you just want to hold on to that.
No, it was 2011. That was in Virginia.
When we went to Macedonia.
And there's proof that I took that picture in 2011 because you visited me while I went up there to Virginia.
That's probably 2012, though, wasn't it?
Okay,
anyway.
So it's even, I even look younger.
Yeah.
I think that happens when you don't live a bearded, boozing life. You don't age as that.
I'm wearing an Oktoberfest t-shirt.
That fits your brand.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I think one thing we might be proving, just between us, is that eating McDonald's every day makes you younger than drinking beer every day.
Well, the preservatives, you know.
Right. It could be whatever's making the hamburger never die is now.
It's absorbed into you.
The secret to not aging is McDonald's halo of preservative lard.
To me, this leads well into our guest. Because remember, we teased that the last guest, Nick, and this guest, Ali Bolten, now known as Ali Colonel Sanders, put to the test the idea, we were just talking about genetics deciding things about you, the idea that environment decides who you are. Because this person and Nick went to the exact same school, the exact same grade, the exact same age, the exact same basic punk scene, and this is a girl that dated Eric, and Nick is Eric's best friend. Can't get much closer environmentally raised. So you would think that they would end up the exact same, but they didn't.
Funny how life works that way.
Ali has kind of polar opposited. She is a ultra-conservative Christian, homeschooling mom who raises chickens. And Nick is not that. Whatever Nick is, it's not that. And finally, at least that I could think of, is Nick made it very clear in the last episode that at this moment, at least, he has no desire to have children, whereas Ali has 3 children plus 1 adoption from Ethiopia and another adoption from China on the way.
Whereas my 3rd child was a stone cold mistake. River, if you're ever watching this, I love you.
Yeah, you can.
And it was a happy accident, but it was not.
I was going to ask you, and maybe we'll bring this up when Ali comes on as well. And you tell me if you don't want to talk about this. First of all, Craig. But you were having trouble having children at first, and then you did. What is that called again?
IVF.
What is that again?
In vitro fertilization.
Right. I knew that. I just needed you to say it for the dumb audience.
Yeah, you can never overestimate the stupidity of the audience.
So anyway, my thought was, did you ever think about adopting? Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, of course. That was one of my questions because.
Okay, well you can say that.
Yeah, but we'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. So that's a good tease. So.
Yeah.
Ali Bolten Sanders.
I wore this because
you're a geek.
Ali's original last name was Bolten. Get it?
Wow.
Well, it's great to see you, Ali. I think the last time I saw her, she was like, "I'm getting married," and then that's it.
That's it.
I think she directly, when she told me she was getting married, left my house and went and got married. I think you just disappeared.
That's right. That was 19 years ago.
Wow.
So I like the hair. I like the style.
Thank you. It's my midlife crisis haircut.
Greg's hairstyle is to look like he's midlife all the time.
Yeah.
We're going to have quite an episode today. We're going to play a game of Truth and a Lie, and we're going to debut a brand new music video by Megadad. All right, so I was going to go serious at first, but I thought we could start a little light, and that is one of my favorite pictures that I saw on one of your posts on Facebook, on your page. It seems you killed your chicken. You had a pet rooster and you killed it. And I want to know which one. Okay. Why are you killing your roosters now?
Okay, so I had 2 roosters originally, which I'm supposed to only have hens, but they're only 90% accurate when they sort them. So I ended up with 2 roosters last year.
Wait, let me back up. You raise chickens? Why are there chickens there?
Why not, right?
Okay, so why not?
We have 4 acres, and I thought this seems like a fun project, and they're so cute when they're like 2 days old. So we decided we would only have hens, and then we would have eggs, and that would be a good thing. And that was how we ended up with 2 roosters, which I had no plans of having roosters because they're a big pain in the butt.
So you murdered them.
So that was when I learned how to slaughter a chicken.
So you just Googled how to kill a rooster?
There's YouTube. There's
YouTube's great.
There's books. We knew like 2 people that did it, but really YouTube is more informative.
Yeah. You can YouTube and see the death of a chicken.
It's pretty nasty though. I think YouTube is grosser than actually doing it.
I'm not doing it.
I'm probably not going to look that up, I'll be honest.
I wouldn't recommend it. No.
I've never slaughtered a chicken. How's that work out? The first time I slaughtered a chicken.
It's sort of like biology class, but not exactly.
Like dissection?
Yeah, you have to catch them, first of all. And then you put them in like a bleach bottle that has the top and the bottom cut off, and the bleach bottle's upside down. So they're kind of hanging there upside down with their head sticking out of the bottom, and you zip tie their feet so they don't move around. And then you cut their throat, which I never do because I don't want to watch that. So my husband gets to do that, and then
he cuts their throat with a butter knife.
This is the funny part because we've tried like 7 different knives, and you would not believe how hard it is to get something sharp.
Harder than you think to cut a neck.
Yeah.
Yes, and then they bleed out, and then you dip them in like scalding water for about 15 seconds and pull all the feathers off, and then I get to do the fun part, which is biology class, and that's where you take out all the insides. Yes, and you cut off their feet, and I don't really like to keep the gizzards.
You know, Eric is probably watching this episode, and when he does, he's thrown up at least 3 times at this point.
Vegan Eric.
But you know
vegan's probably this is exactly what this is their commercial. Right, we don't like to think about it, but this is what happens to chickens.
My chickens have led very full, happy lives.
I have eaten more chickens than anything else in this world. That's a fact.
Chickens.
For sure.
I know, me too.
They're delicious.
I can't complain about how disgusting it is. I'm glad I don't have to do it, but they're yummy.
I still have 1 rooster left, and we keep debating when to get rid of him.
When to eat him. Right? You eat him, right? You're not just killing him.
You can eat the chicken at any point. They just get tougher the older they get. They don't taste as good.
But if you have a rooster and hens, then you can make more chickens, right?
Yeah, can't they?
You can. Yeah, the funny thing, we had a bobcat in the backyard like a week and a half ago, circling the chickens. But we were debating whether to lock the rooster out at night and maybe just let the bobcat take it. But I don't want to encourage the bobcat. So yeah, that's a catch-22.
So it sounds like you kind of live in the country, like.
We only have 4 acres. Like
4 acres is more than me. How many acres you got, Greg?
I have 1/20th of an acre.
Exactly, Allie.
So I wanna change directions a little bit and get into like we were all punk kids or whatever. You have, I think, lots of tattoos and stuff, right? You know.
Yes.
How many you got?
5. One of them's a cover-up, so it was 6, and then I covered it up with the big bird.
What'd you cover up?
I had a right here. There was one of those very 1990s.
Oh yeah, I remember you had the barbed wire
cross and the fishes, and it was like barbed wire kind of thing.
The barbed wire.
Matt still has his tribal ichthus.
I do. I have a bad one. I have a Christian fish in a tribal.
Yes.
Whoever did such a bad job. It looked faded on day 1, let alone now. So. Looks like I got it as a baby.
So, but this is my favorite one now. It's got the bird.
That's really cool. Is that like an owl? Looks like. Oh, that's awesome.
That looks cool.
Yeah. So then it's got like stars and the moon up here, and And I got the landscape on my back with all the kids' names and
cool.
my husband. And I've got an angel and I've got a Republican elephant.
Well, let me ask you what I think will be the most interesting thing to talk about. But
You're judging your own question to be the most interesting already?
I rate myself. I have supreme confidence. No. Adoption is a very interesting topic. So I'd like to know some ins and outs, share with the audience of just that experience of adopting. So I'll ask a series of questions. Greg,
yeah, you're going to need to have me
Greg can pipe in and ask as he decides things are leading. But first, to me, the most obvious question is, why did you choose to adopt? You had 3 kids already, yes? 2 or 3?
3.
So it wasn't a matter of...
That's what I was saying to Matt earlier. I have 3 kids, and the third one was a happy accident, but I would have been perfectly happy with 2.
We wanted 2, and we stuck with 2, and we tied the knots for 2. So this is the deal. So you have 3. That's hard enough. And you decide, I want to adopt. So how did you come to that decision?
Funny story. My husband was going to Bible study or something. He came home and he said, we're supposed to adopt. And I looked at him like he had completely lost his mind, because I had an 8-month-old that was
oh my gosh,
planned. It was a total shocker. And so that didn't make a lot of sense to me. But I told him, I'll pray about it. I'll think about it. That's what we always say, right? I'll pray about it. Yeah.
So wait, so you felt led by God, you're saying. Your Bible says nothing made
right.
Okay.
Right. And he couldn't even pinpoint what it was. It was just like he had this feeling that that's what we were supposed to do, which is always like, yeah, okay, that's crazy. And I prayed and researched it mostly, because he had this idea in his head that we were supposed to adopt from Africa. I mean, it was specifically from Africa. Which was even more crazy. But all of a sudden in my own head, it made sense, which doesn't make sense, but it made sense. And as it turned out, time she came home, our youngest was like 3 and a half.
That's a lot.
So, it wasn't like we had a baby anymore at that point.
So what about the cost? Because it took us a long time to have kids, and we ended up doing IVF for my twins who are 6. And we did that because it was way cheaper to do IVF than it was to adopt, which was around $50,000. We were looking for an infant because we had never been parents before. So
absolutely. They have a saying that basically the older and darker you get, the cheaper it is.
That is a sad statement, but true.
Yes. Yes. And you can adopt full-grown children in the U.S. for free.
Right.
Internationally, Ethiopia was actually cheaper than China. And Ethiopia, I love. That was actually, and so if I had any country to pick from, I would go back there because I love Ethiopia.
So you're in Texas, and you have adopted someone from Ethiopia. So now you have this integrated from different cultures. So
transracial.
I don't know where you want to go. How is it within the family just to have someone come in, and just anyone, not just cross culture, but then culturally, is there anything weird that?
Oh, like, do we get the looks?
Yeah, I mean, you're like an hour north of Houston. That's not exactly Midtown Manhattan, you know?
That's what you think, right? But it's actually, I think, like our church, I really like our church that we go to because there's African Americans, there's a bunch of Asians, there's adoptive families that have adopted domestically from China, Ethiopia, Ghana, biracial families.
So you don't get any weird looks or questions.
Wiggly,
that say, why'd you get someone from another country?
I have to say, the most nosy ones are probably the cashiers. About once a year, I will get a grocery store cashier, especially if I have all of them.
Right.
I get a cashier that's like, oh, are they all yours? And they kind of look pointedly. But that's probably the rudest I've got.
That's good to hear. I didn't want to hear bad stuff. All right, so then my final adoption question. Now we can definitely.
Okay.
So that first moment where you are with her, when she's yours, what did that feel like? Was that a fear, a love, a mixture? What was that first feeling that you get
Oh, it's a whole mixture. Yeah, I mean, like I almost passed out from trying to calm myself, and I know I'm going to do it again. And it's kind of like this feeling that you're going to burst into tears and cry because you can tell they are freaking out. Mm-hmm. It's for them, it's really scary. There's nervousness, panic, fear, excitement, sympathy. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a big cocktail of stuff that makes you want to pass out. Yeah. And my husband
shortly after that you have to get on like a 15-hour flight, right? So
yeah. And then immigration, who is the most unfriendly people in the world, which is the part that I'm most scared about on this trip too, is that because you're at the end of that marathon where you just want to die and you want to pass out, and they won't let you. They won't let you. And I have to see, this is part of like what's taking up all my sleep and my time for the next month is all this preparation, and I have to make out all the letters in case I die, the list of passwords, and also every night I am recording a book so that they will have a whole book for me to read to them while I am gone.
My goodness. You're a much more proactive parent than I am.
So now's the time in the interview where we completely interrupt Ollie and we debut the premiere of a brand new Mega Dad video that Greg has been working on for years.
Yeah.
We've been talking about children, so we have a video that relates to being a parent. So let's play that. Let's play that now, Greg. Night, sweet.
Daddy, could you do the bedtime story?
Again? I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
Sure.
Okay.
It's time for the bedtime song, kids.
Daddy, why are you always Skyping with Greg?
Well, son, that's what friends do. Plus, we signed a contract.
I'm just going to put the phone up here. You guys ready?
I got my documents up in his kids. Jammies on. I went partying and I washed my hands. My mama said the story's over now. It's time to go to bed.
Works every time.
Let's go make some music with the wives.
I'm right behind you, buddy.
And we're back.
And we're back!
The
Should
interview.
we play our game now? Is it game
Yes,
time?
I think it's time to play a game.
Yeah.
We always play games, and so we're going to play a game. And the game we're going to play today is a truth and a lie. We each will tell one truth and one lie, in no particular order, of course. That would ruin the game. And the other two have to decide which is the truth and which is the lie.
You know,
I'll go first.
because I think yours will be easy.
This was your idea. So.
Yeah.
All right. Story number 1. Slight backstory. Up until about 18 years old, barely had any kissing. There was some slight texting. But up until 18 years
this has
old,
verisimilitude already.
not much action. Until New Year's Eve, senior year. I'll paint the picture of all the crazy things that happened to me in one night after 18 years.
I wasn't there. I was in Georgia, so.
Platonic two-step concert. This is Greg's terrible ska band. And there's a girl I knew in Atlantic, hadn't spoken to in about 2 years. And at some point during the concert, she comes up to me and whispers in my ear. And then I start feeling this tongue, like, intruding my ear. Now that's weird. Not making out, but it's a weird thing. Then I go to Life's party afterwards and meet a girl that I had never met, and we went to a Denny's. In the middle of the meal, her foot goes into my crotch and starts playing around.
It's a great night for you.
Again, way more action than I've ever gotten. I go back to Life's house, and one of my old best friends, Mary Mortensen, comes up to me. We've never had any relations. We're strictly platonic. Sticks her tongue down my throat for a little while. Now, after I promptly take her and put her into a bed, not for me, close the door so she can't do this to other people and get herself in trouble that night, another girl comes up to me, pulls me into a room, locks the door, and says, "We're making out." And we make out there. So, in the span of one night, I out-actioned myself of 18 years by a millionfold. So, story number 2. So there's that one. Story number 2. As a shorter one, I'm on my way to A Godspell. It was a musical I was in senior year in high school. And I'm late. And I have gum in my mouth. And I shoot this gum out of my mouth, because you don't have gum in your mouth when you're practicing a musical. You got to sing and stuff. I shoot it out and I'm running. And I'm pretty fast, the Flash, fast. But I notice I'm catching up to that gum. I might actually be able to catch that gum. What if I could catch that gum in my mouth, I think? That's about 30 feet away. I'm spread out. It's going to be amazing. I catch the gum in my mouth, one of my favorite moments in my life, but no one's around to see this magical moment. So you must guess. Each of you make a guess, and then I will reveal.
Please.
Well, I'm going to say the first story was way longer with way more details.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that one.
Okay, Greg?
See, I'm going to take the opposite tact, because I think that you were trying to provide those, and I feel like those things probably happened, but not in one night. So I'm going to go with the catching the gum.
All right. The correct answer is, the true story was the catching the gum.
Yay!
That's correct. Now, the other story, Greg is also partially correct. That was all true, except for the ear, tongue beginning. All I do is change one detail, which is all you need. A lie. That's the best way to lie. The best way to lie is to have real details and then shade it. Shade the lie.
That is a little bit different than how I envision this game, but we'll...
All right, so go, Greg. Your turn.
Okay.
Perfect. Tell 2 stories, we guess.
So, there's a gay bar in D.C. that has a competition every year.
Okay.
And it is for the best bear of D.C. and
What's a bear again?
a bear is in the gay subculture, a hairy, chubby, bear-like man. Right?
You appear to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my friends signed me up for the best bear in DC competition. And
All right.
at first I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I was like, okay, I'll be a good sport. I am definitely a bear. Right? So
You named your kid bear.
so I did name my kid bear. Totally not connected.
Hey, you want him to be gay. It's okay. In this culture.
And I came in 3rd place in the best looking bear in DC competition.
Sad.
Okay, story number 2.
All right, so story number 2 is not so much a story, but like a series of things, right? Which is that I have visited nude beaches on 3 different continents.
Which 3?
North America, right?
Okay.
South America, and Europe.
All right.
Central
I feel
America.
like there should be more to that story.
Yeah.
No, he gave us a short one. That's all right. So short.
Oh.
Okay, this is rough.
I'm leaning towards.
Which one? What's your answer, Alan?
Oh man, I'm leaning towards number 2 with the short, no elaboration to it.
That's the true one?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Maybe he got first place in the competition.
I also am going to go with number 2. You just said 3 so simply, and you totally go to nude beach. And you're probably not wearing. You're probably not wearing pants right now. I'm pretty sure.
I am. They are sweatpants, but
All right. So we both said 2.
Yeah, you guys win. I was not voted the 3rd best bear in DC.
You're second?
I kind of wish I had been.
So no contest at all.
No, I've never entered a bear contest. No.
I like it. Okay, Ollie.
So
Story number 1.
let's see. Story number 1. I went to a house party, and I ended up making out with a guy that turned out to be the drummer of Blink-182, which I did not know at the time. I found out later. Yeah, he wasn't actually that good looking. Story number 2. In high school, when I was 16 and a half, I ended up in the back seat of a car that went down Clematis and ended up on Tamarind.
Real streets.
Yes, got held up by 4 guys with guns.
Oh my goodness, that's totally believable right there. That
Clematis.
PTSD for like a year afterwards. So.
Oh boy. All
that's
right.
tough. Those are
That was
equally
good.
plausible.
You're a better liar than you think.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna be the one that gets us.
I'm going to go with the Blink-182 being the true story because it's the more outlandish of the 2 in a certain sense.
Well, I'll say this. My knowledge of Ollie is that she, similarly to me, Ollie as well has told me that she didn't do a lot of stuff, but a lot of making out happened. So it's very possible she was at a party and just randomly made out with a guy. It's not impossible to her character. So I'm going to also go with that, but I think half the people that have been on Clematis have probably been held.
That's the thing, and that's totally believable. But that's why I'm going with the Blink-182 because
that's crazy talk.
You would put the more believable story. You know what I mean? So.
Nope, it was number 2.
Oh no!
My friend made out with the drummer of Blink-182 in college. That happened to a friend of mine, not me. But yes, I did get helped up. Kim Gerber was in the back seat too, and at the time I had cigarettes in my pocket, and all I was thinking about is like if I get shot by these guys,
your
my
mom will
mother,
know you were smoking cigarettes.
Right.
Oh,
that was all I could think about, and I'm like, Lord, just get me home alive so she doesn't know.
Well, my last question has to do with your kids. Homeschooling. You homeschool.
Yeah.
That's obviously a subject every parent has to figure out, and it's become political too.
And I'll be honest, I'm sure Matt kind of agrees with me too. Every day when the kids leave for school, you're like, yes.
Yeah.
So you don't get to experience that. What
Nope.
what led you to the homeschooling lifestyle?
Yes.
My husband was completely public school. I was completely private school. And both of us felt like there was just a big waste of time in there. A big waste of time. And I like my kids a lot, and I like having them around and getting to hang out with them all day. That is also the downside.
Yeah, absolutely. I love my kids, but
I yell sometimes. I am not a perfect conservative homeschooler. Like I don't know how to describe it. We don't wear denim skirts and walk around with no makeup and Bible thumping. But
you don't churn your own butter.
But I like also being able to go through all of it with them. And, I've watched each of them learn to read, and we get to do fun things, and we get to go outside and we get to draw and put things together, and they can write about whatever they want instead of, we have curriculum we use, but it's not like you're a slave to what's on the books of what you have to do. And so I have one kid that's all sciencey, and he wants to spend all his time doing science stuff. And I have another kid that wants to write comics all day long. But, you can feed those passions or push them in whatever directions they're naturally going.
Mm-hmm. What I like about school, like them going to school, and then my job then, is I like to think of myself as like the alternative teacher, like the Howard Zinn of whatever's going on.
They go and learn, and then you screw them up.
Yeah, they go learn, and I look at it, and I decide what piece of that puzzle they're missing, and then I want to show it to them. And if I could show it to them through a movie or music or whatever, that would be all the better. But and then teach them. Now, do you as your kids get older, do you let them like pick out a book that you really wouldn't agree with, just so that they can see that perspective, or do you kind of?
My oldest, I do. There's probably still a few lines I would draw. I mean, he is still under 18. I don't think 50 Shades of Grey is going to end up in our library.
It shouldn't be in anybody's library, only because it's Twilight fan fiction.
It's probably a horrible book. Yeah. Well, let me end the show saying that if your homeschooling is as interesting as this chat we've had, I bet they're doing great, because this was really interesting, right, Greg? This was good.
I have to say, I feel like Matt and I have barely spoken, which is the goal here. So that's awesome. Yeah.
I think we've gotten to know you better than we possibly could have in a million looks on Facebook.
Absolutely.
So, Greg, give us our little sign off.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to like this video. I still, after all these times, don't know what side it's on.
I think it's right here.
Yeah.
We have one announcement to make before this episode is over, and that is that the next show will be our last show. We're going to hang this little experiment up.
Oh, it's not just a season finale, it's like a series.
No, yeah.
We have other ideas that we want to explore now, so.
We feel like we've done what we wanted to do with it, and be sure to know that if we're going out with a bang. So this next episode we do,
it'll be like better than Matt's senior year New Year's Eve.
That would be incredible, because that was quite a night.
It'll be like having a wet tongue in your ear.
No, that's not
footsie at Denny's.
No, that's not that part. It'll be like a nice makeout. All right,
thank you very much.
See everybody later. Thank you, Ollie.
Bye.
Don't be a stranger.